Coast Northwest, joined in studio by Bill Taylor, Osprey Guide Adventures. You know, I got to tell you, Bill, and I talked about this a little earlier, I wanted to do a Buoy 10 special, and I know I'm not going to have time between now and the opener. And I thought, who can I get in there that can really break this down and tell people all about the tides and the areas and stuff? And I just thought, I got to talk to you. He's like the professor of Buoy 10. I'm going to see if I can get that nickname started. And they'll be like, hi, professor, and he's going by. But hey, thanks for coming in, pal.
See you.
Okay. So I've got the map up, and we're going to talk about the map here in the next segment. But right now, I want to talk about these factors that we were talking about earlier. Things like moon cycles, things like tides, things like the wind report. These are all things, and Bill's been guiding for a long time, and he's been doing Buoy 10, but he goes that extra little bit to talk about. So let's talk about the first thing you look at when you're trying to figure out what time to launch, where to launch, and where you're going.
Well, I would tell you the first thing is you got to know where the wind's going. And a nice app like windfinder.com, you can Google Windfinder Astoria, Windfinder Warrenton, Ilwaco, and it's going to give you a pretty darn good reading on where the wind is blowing and where it's going to blow later in the day.
And that's not just a great app for Buoy 10. That's a great app for anything. The Gorge Fisherman, the Wind River, the Drano. There's a reason they call that the Wind River, but that's a great app, and I use that all the time. So having that app and just knowing how to access it. Now, what are you looking for in winds? What's the good wind, if there is one, and what's the one that you really got to worry about?
Well, good wind is no wind. So if we don't have wind, we can get all over the place, but you're going where the Columbia is running smack dab into the Pacific Ocean. There's all kinds of turbulence happening in the atmosphere with water evaporating. That's how winds get created, is through water evaporation on the ocean. So I'm looking for something less than 10 miles per hour. If I'm seeing wind above 10 miles an hour, it's going to be a tough day. We're going to be needing to take cover. And we're going to need to know where to be at particular points in the day so we don't get caught in the wrong spot at the wrong time and put the crew at peril.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about a little bit, was when you get let's say you have an east wind and you have an outgoing, and those two things go together, or whatever it is, it's the perfect storm. It'll cause that washing machine effect. And if you're not somewhere where you can either get out of that, or you can't get back to your boat ramp or wherever you put in, you better know where the nearest boat ramp is to get out of that, just for safety reasons. And also, when your guide tells you to bring rain gear, don't look at the weather report. It's not for rain, okay? It's for that lumpy ride that he already knows you're probably going to be in for, and he's just trying to think about you. So make sure when you see rain gear, you don't think about rain. So watching the wind and stuff, but also the tides. You were talking about the different tides, the good tides versus the bad tides. What are you looking for?
It's all predicated on what the moon is doing. If we have a full moon or a new moon, which happen every other week, we're going to have strong tides. The moon and sun will be pretty much in line with the earth. It'll make the water oblong on the earth, and then we'll have big tides. When we have a half moon or waxing, waning, quarter moon, three-quarter moon, we're going to have soft tides, and they'll happen. We'll go full moon, half moon, new moon, half moon. So every week it's changing. And so we have to know, are we in a heavy tide swing week, or are we in a soft tide swing week? And there are going to be times when it's kind of a little bit of both, and those can be real good. Every one of those types of days can be good. It's a matter of when the fish are coming, rather than soft tides are going to be the best. If fish aren't coming in on a soft tide, then there aren't going to be any fish to be in there when the tide's not moving back and forth.
Right, and we talked about that also, that just because, we get out of our early bird gets the worm, got to be out there at dark 30. If the tide's not right, there's no point in doing that, especially if you've got a real choppy, heavy outgo. You're just going to be fighting current and just burning gas until that thing lays down and you can fish it. So a lot of guides I know, for like half the week or a week, they'll go out at 4 in the morning, and then they'll go, why don't you guys sleep in? We'll go out 9:30, 10 o'clock, get that ebb tide, and get out there when the things have calmed down, as opposed to really trying to work just to get out there early in the morning and be done by noon. So those are nice days, and if you know and you got a good guide and he knows, Sometimes you can do that afternoon trip if you got something in the morning. You don't have to be there at 4:30. You may not have to stay the night down there. Can come down, fish the afternoon into the evening, and go. And that's where having the right guide and having someone experienced knows that. And we're going to talk about the map, and I want you to talk about kind of the areas that you like to work and the incoming, the outgoing, because we're all guilty of it, chasing the phone bite. You're not finding fish. Hey, where are they at? You will spend more time burning gas and moving to another place. And especially if you don't know that Desdemona Sands area, that's kind of dangerous if you don't know how to get through there. So going to the Washington site could be an hour if you have to go all the way around, depending on the weather, the boat, and then get over there and then get in trouble with the weather because you didn't check out the wind. This is stuff that can ruin your buoy 10, and it's just not safe. So that's kind of why I wanted you to come in here and talk about this, the apps and that kind of stuff, so people can get an idea of what to expect and basically how to plan what they're doing. I've told people they need to try to get their trips booked as early as possible, because you and I both know that Fish and Wildlife can pull the plug like that, and then we're just canceling trips. So we're going to go to break. When we come back, I've got Bill in here. I'm going to have him start talking about spots. We're going to get the Mondo screen. I'm going to start showing some different places. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.